Morning everyone, welcome back to the homestead. So today I'd like to start framing the roof for our chicken coop, our mobile chicken coop that is. It's kind of challenging to me because, as simple as it may seem to some of you, getting those angles on the roof rafters is something that I just kind of stressed about a little bit. We're doing what's called the Gable Roof, which is basically that upside down V shape. We could do just a one-sided slant roof, which would be fine and probably a lot easier to construct, but I think we're going for more of an aesthetic here. You know, our barn's gonna have a gable roof, our shop's gonna have a gable roof, our house has a gable roof. So just gonna try to aesthetically keep everything cohesive, if you will. The challenging part of it to me is that there's a lot more angles and cuts on your rafters that have to be taken into consideration. From where they mount to the ridge beam, there's an angle that you have to find and make that cut. And then where the end of the rafters rest on top of the sill plate, not the sill plates, the top plates of your framing walls, there's a cutout there that's called the bird's mouth, you know, and everything just has to be kind of precise in order to make this all work. Now, it appears there's some mathematical ways of getting these measurements and doing this, but I concocted my own sort of idea in my head, which is basically going to be taking a 2x3, clamping it in place, and then tracing where it's supposed to be cut. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll find out together. But before we start building, we're gonna go check our trail cam and change our SD card again. It's about 2 days until hunting season starts here, so I'm pretty excited. I don't know about where you guys are, but here, the past month cooled down considerably, a little bit early for this geographical location. That triggered the deer movement. There's a lot of deer moving around. You saw some bucks back there, a lot of does, some fawns. But the past 3 days or so, it's kind of warmed up back into almost the 80s. And that seems to really shut it down almost. What's it like where you guys are? You guys getting cooled down? Is the weather warming up? Let me know in the comments what your weather's like and where you're located. Screen showed only about 187 photos, which is significantly down from what we were seeing when it was cooler. We come out and check that camera and there's about 500 usually overnight. I know 180 something may seem like a lot, but a lot of them are just, you know, shots where there'd be one deer dipping their head down to eat corn and back up again and down again and up again and down again and up again, and there's 10 shots right there. So that's not a lot of photos. You may be wondering from an earlier video why my deer feeder's in my yard instead of back there. Where I had put it, I think I was spooking them, because as soon as I put that deer feeder out there, no deers at all. I mean, they all went away. Nothing on camera, nothing. So we took it out of there and I've been just dumping the corn pile, and all of a sudden they're back. Okay guys, I'm gonna go check this footage and I'll be right back and we'll get building. Okay, so it looks like we have 2 does and 2 fawns eating some corn. And here's our spike buck that we named Rambo hanging out. All right, let's get to work. All right, so here's the method I came up with for the roof rafters. I got a clamp holding this in place, and it's flush with the ridge beam. So I'm gonna go and trace this line onto the wood, and we'll do the same thing from behind with the bird's mouth cut out. Now, if I've got my measurements correct, hopefully I can cut this out and use it as a template for all the other rafters. Not sure if that's gonna work out though, let's see. All right, so that actually worked out, but not that pretty. My cut right here is a little off, as you can see. I don't think it matters too much, but at any rate, I held it up to the other side, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to use these as a template. I have to measure each one of these while I go. Well, we'll get through it. So I'm up on the ridge beam and I am measuring out where my rafters are gonna go. every 24 inches on center. All right, so I've managed to get one that was serving as a really good template, and you know, this side, it's coming together pretty well. So I'm gonna keep rolling with this one. I gotta cut one more, and that side will be done. And then I'll go back to the other method again of clamping up a board on that side and then tracing the lines to get it. Since, you know, I have it marked exact and I think it's exact, but you know, these things are always a hair off, and a little 1/8 of an inch translates to a whole lot off as you go down the line. So we're gonna finish up this side and we'll start measuring up and mocking that side. So a little trick that I taught myself is when I draw my lines, I draw them past, you know, well past where I have to cut. Because what that does is when you take your saw and you line it up, you can use the gauge and it'll make sure that that cut is straight on the line. If you're just looking over here, where's the blade? Right there. And you look like, oh, that looks like it's it. But you come over here and you could be off. There we are, see? You're off. So, you know, it looks fine on this side. You start the cut and you wind up making a cut that's not even with your line. Always make a line that goes past just so you give yourself a gauge for a nice clean cut on the line. Another thing to note, when you do make your cut using a circular saw, you know, go past your mark a little bit because the blade is round. So what happens is when you turn it over, it doesn't go all the way through. You still need to use, you know, a jigsaw from the type of saw to complete this cut. But if you happen to stop as soon as you hit your mark, you know, these lines would be way back here. Yeah, it wouldn't even be close to where it is now. So I've got my last two cut for this side. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and start these screws so it's a little bit easier when I get up there. Just like that. I'm not gonna start on this side where the bird's mouth meets the top plate, because where the studs come up, there's two screws in there. So I wanna make sure that I'm getting in between them or someplace where I'm not gonna hit a screw. Okay, so there's our one side of the roof done. Gonna start mocking up and measuring the other side now. I'm pretty pleased with the way it came out. I mean, it's not perfect. Again, I am not a carpenter. So I mean, you can see not the best cut, you know. There's a little gap on that one. But I think it's fine. Again, I'm trying not to go too crazy. It's a chicken coop. But I think everything's straight and measured correctly, and I got the same distances off of all the soffits here. What will be the soffits. So that should look nice and straight, hopefully. Let's keep going. All right, guys. So I think we're gonna pause for the evening. Got all the rafters mounted. I think it came out pretty good, considering I'm not a carpenter. So I forgot to add, we're using 2x3s because number one, I don't know if any of you guys have seen lumber prices lately, but they are out of control. And we just don't need 2x4s for something that's not gonna be housing people. I think the chickens will be just fine. In fact, it's probably overbuilt as it is, but that's okay. Anyway, kind of happy with it. I was just looking at the comments from the previous video. Some good advice in there. Somebody was saying to take out the bottom piece to make cleaning out the bedding easier. I may do that. And then somebody who was a carpenter mentioned how to get the layout by marking the floor and then transferring your marks to your rafters, which was really great advice. However, I hadn't seen that until after I did this. So, I guess my method worked out okay. Probably not the way they do it, carpenters that is. So I think what we'll do next, we'll either get our strapping on for our tin roof, or we'll start framing out this middle piece for the two windows and for the nesting box. Also, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I was thinking about originally building the chicken door into the back door, but I'll probably do an automatic opener at some point. And I thought maybe that opening and closing might not be the best thing for sensitive electronics and whatnot, although it would be the most ideal place for it. So what do you think if maybe I put it, you know, in maybe this first bay on either side or something like that? I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Maybe I'm overlooking something, or maybe I'm overthinking it. Where would you put the chicken door? Well, guys, that's about it for today. I want to thank you for spending some time with me and hanging out with my chicken coop build. I guess tomorrow we'll get some more stuff going on it. Either we'll do the windows, frame those out, or maybe put the strapping on for the tin roof, soffits. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But there's a lot more work to be done. I hope you join me back for the next video on this build. And as always, thank you so much for being here with me, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks, guys.